Hey guys, it's the Tin Man. They're watching me. They got to be. Why else would a helicopter be in the sky? Huh? You never thought of that. Joking over. Hey, I've been here. I haven't been here for a while. But this is the wall that I discovered that these guys were into doing drilling. And it was even, I think, at the process of realizing, are they maybe what they were doing it with? Were they doing it with their claw or whatever? So that fresh at this wall, and it looks like it's changed a lot. And if I remember the drill part, it's around here. It was a lot kind of bushier. It was a lot more filled in here. Maybe the whole thing, and somebody's just made the road cut through again. Wondering if that's it. Anyways, we're going to come here, and you can see how the road is. It's kind of it's owned probably, but undeveloped or whatever. So why don't we just go up to something like this, so I can talk a little bit about this before I look for any of the drilling evidence to see if they are still even into that kind of coring that they were doing there. Hear a little bit of noise going off to my left here, and there's another helicopter up here. Got a lot of helicopters going on out here these days. Oh, it's a raven going on back there, and there's another raven. Some clatter. Anyways, so what I tell everybody is they're capable of doing all these cracks. All of them. You see these rocks here? That big one, say, right there, that doesn't have a crack in it yet, that one. In amongst there, we could come back tomorrow and it could be cracked. It could be cracked to smithereens like that. Or maybe they won't crack it up. Maybe they'll want to move it out that big. You know, maybe they'll end up slicing it this way in cracks and different things. But I kid you not, this is them. And they'll even go to the point of just even leaving this there. And not even taking that one quite all the way out. Maybe that was part of the reason, because the grub that grew in there. And that can be a lot of the reason of it, is just grub search. Could be. You do stuff like that. What do the little pesky guys do? They get into all these nooks and crannies for the winter, I guess, and the cold season. You can hear that. There's not even pressure on it anymore. It's been moved to such a cleared out spot. That one's down in there. So yeah, you can see how this is. This is kind of dangerous. Trying to prove to you guys, like, that's what I refer to as an overhead shelf, but that's only an inch in thickness. But that's what we as cliff makers, like when we make a road and stuff, don't do. We don't do overhead shelf. We don't do things that are going to be able to come down on us easily. So even the rock guys who build these roads and stuff, hey, let's go up here, because we never did get to look at this last time. I haven't visually very well seen any drilling or anything. But look at that. That kind of shows us something maybe right there. I'm going to do a zoom. So you can just kind of see what that's about a bit. Got to get a little bit better on the zoom there, didn't I? That only goes in as deep as I can see there. So here's some fresh that's been just broken off. Maybe we'll see scratching. Because if you come up close for you new lookers and stuff, sometimes you can see where they've scratched beyond and stuff. Like even on, like how we kind of see on a tree and stuff. See, like that might actually be just left behind kind of scratch mark, not a crack, not like that's not a legitimate cracking, fracking, overhanging shelf, overhead shelf like I referred to. See how this stuff is all, make sure I'm zoomed back here. Yeah. See, this stuff is all, oops, sorry, spiderweb. Oh, I saved him right there if you see him. He's a cliffhanger. Anyway, so this is how we generally would want to leave our mountains and stuff. So here's a nice one, because they've only just started working on this one. I went to a spot first down yonder, over there by the creek, that I also filmed on this little trip a year ago or something. And yeah, not much action. So that'd be neat if we found some kind of a little burial there or something. Let's go down and look for some drill marks just so we can see. Look at that, they're pulling right. And if you have an, you know, other than yin-yang people, but if you have some theories on this, go ahead and say it. But you can see the freshness in this. You can see how much aged in life is around here. And so you can see where this has been cleared off, almost like to a line even there, like rock is coming from here. Earlier stage of rock came out of here. So people who think, well, why don't they just do it in one day? Why don't they just tear down the bridge? It's because they do everything slow. I don't know why they don't do it that way, but they work on the trees slow. They work on the cliffs slow. They work on that cliff slow. You know, to me, it looks like they're just starting to get going on this part of the cliff that we originally built the road. Now when they've increased their workload on it, this one they're getting going on. Maybe right in between there. You know, so don't ask ridiculous questions about why aren't they just coming out in vision and tearing down bridges. You know, I'm showing proof of what I tell you is evidence that I find on these guys of fracking, breaking, damaging things, not just like this wall for maybe just grubs, but they're doing it to our concrete surfaces, our concrete structures, our paving ones, because there's asphalt in there. Wouldn't that be neat if we found that rock right here, pulled off with the original drilled hole in it? Hey, look it right in there. Okay, we're going up close because that's what I did do that. Okay, make sure nothing's gonna fall here. And this is where I had there was a pile of broken rock. Like you could tell they were just sitting there and just, it was right around in this area here. This pile might be built up a little bit more. It might have been, say, down on that level right there. But, you know, see, look at this stuff. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Still taping, that's good. And where, okay, so I thought that, whoops. Where am I? Here, that stick there. So right in behind there, kind of centered, I think, is where I thought I seen a drill pattern. But I remember it was, I'm right in the close proximity here. Is it on this edgy side? You guys can, you know, some people I'm sure can give value to that stuff's just sitting there. I don't know how much of a push or pull or bounce up on top could make that change. I'm not seeing any drilling patterns, so they must have taken that drilled surface rock where they did the coring right out of here. But on the other video that I'm going to attempt to find and put here for us, so I'm thinking, so here we go. So you come down here, and because what I did was when I was up there and I looked here, this kind of looks like a little bit of a working station. So we got flat grass here, here, and stuff, and now I'm going to put a flat spot right here. Looks like this rock has been being used as a tool. It's maybe as a table. Let's see if any of them look better like the table. This one looks like a nice, maybe that was the one getting these bits off. Look at that edge. So these are all the bits of some kind of work they were doing here. I'd say this is the one they probably brought down. And so right here, that very likely is something that they have scribed and broken away there. Unless there's, in the granite, there's micro size kind of fault lines that they can figure out. But look at that. See, I've got my finger there and stuff. It almost looks like a saw, right? I mean, I'm hoping I'm getting some concrete guys. You know some concrete guys, tell them to watch this whole video. And you know some rock blasters. Guys like that. See that little bit down there even that fell off from it, eh? As it's even been dropped. And my hand's just covered in the dust. Well, not covered, but it's got a lot of dust. So this is nice and wet. So sometimes that'll happen too, is where there could have been a footprint or something like that, is maybe why they were dropped there. Big rock missing from there. So they've been here recently, I would say, and worked around here. Has a local guy come in here and grabbed a couple of rocks and taken them home, and he's tossed these ones all to the side that were broken in here and stuff. It's kind of interesting how that got broken, the little toss. Perfect timing when that person's coming. I'm setting up. So this is a fairly new one that's come down. Don't really feel a lot of dust on it. There's a nice one in there I'm going to grab. Yeah, we gotta get the geologists involved. I'm never really including geologists, am I? Okay, let's watch this. You've seen what happened then. That was from 4 feet or a little bit higher. I suspect, like that one was dusty, I suspect they can be breaking them off, tossing them down as need be. Gonna hear an owly type thing in the background here. So thanks for hanging around, the people who have. And as for fully locating that drill hole, I guess we'll have to, I wonder if that was the starting where it was. I'm doing too much wondering on it. Peace out. Oh yeah, and what we can really notice is water coming through here. So you think about that when it comes to springs, underground springs and stuff being re-diverted to new destinations. On purpose, with a plan, orchestrated, many volunteers helping. We don't know. That's the stuff we're figuring out.